get by. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders. Today is no different. I have Mark Herre. You can check him out at SEOgame.com. And Mark, you can tell you've been doing this for a long time, since 1996, because it's a really good domain name, SEOgame. Before I formally introduce you, Mark, I always like to point out other episodes of the podcast people should check out, because we're going to go deep. And you're deep in the agency world. We're going to talk about everything from SEO to offers to partnerships to AI. Some other top agency interviews I did. People can check out Jason Swank. I have two interviews with him. One, he built up his agency to 8 figures and he sold it, and then he started an agency group, Agency 360, helping agency owners as well. And he talks about kind of your North Star and valuation. It's a really good episode. On the agency front, I also had Todd Taskey. Todd Taskey helps pair agencies with private equity and helps sell agencies. And so that was really interesting on some of the scenarios he's seen, and how you can get the highest value for your agency. And he has a Second Bite podcast as well. Kevin Herrigan as well. This is in your camp, Mark. Kevin Herrigan had his agency since 1995. So it's interesting to hear the landscape of the internet, business, and agency life as well. So people can check those out and more on InspiredInsider.com. This episode is brought to you by Rise25. Rise25, we help businesses connect to their dream relationships and partnerships. We do this in a few ways, okay? One, we're an easy button for a company to launch and run a podcast. So we do the strategy, the accountability, the full execution and production, everything that makes a podcast successful and gets ROI. Number two, we're an easy button for a company's gifting. So we make gifting and staying top of mind for clients, partners, prospects, even staff from a culture perspective. Very simple, easy, and affordable. You just give us a list of people, and we do everything else behind the scenes. And Mark, we kind of call ourselves the magic elves that run in the background to make it stress-free for companies to build amazing relationships. Because for me, the number one thing in my life is relationships. I always look at ways to give to those best relationships. And personally, I found no better way over the past 15 years than to profile the people and companies I admire in my podcast and send them sweet treats in the mail. So if you have questions, go to rise25.com or email us at support@rise25.com. I'm really excited to introduce Mark Herre. He's been in his current role as CEO at the SEOgame since 1996. Before that, he was a bookkeeper and Japanese cook living in Seattle. He's got a wife and 3 daughters. Fun fact is, really, he first started networking in the 90s for another company he founded called 123inter.net. I wonder who owns that domain now, Mark. 123inter, it's over, .net. And he was fixing fax machines at the time. And people are asking him all types of questions like, how do I get online? How do I, all sorts of business questions. He was helping people get them set up with the lightning speed of dial-up at that point, right? So Mark, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, that technology company was something, wasn't it? In 1996, I was a Chamber of Commerce networker. And it takes me way back in the days of networking almost 29 years ago. So thank you, Jeremy, for having me on your show.
Yeah, and I just want to start off with, there's so much we'll dig into in this episode. But one thing that sticks out to me when I really research you is offers. What I've seen some of the most successful people, whatever business, they have a very, very compelling offer. And so I'd love to talk about your offer. You kind of have this no-brainer offer, and I'll have you explain what that is and how that works. But I feel like that's just a key thing to get people on board, right? We could start with the free report offer and then go to how it works for people to work with you because
Yeah.
it's compelling.
Yeah, the offers in partnerships. So the digital agencies I service are constantly looking to renew their offers because they're out there selling, hitting the pavement, and they're saying, Mark, let's evaluate this website. What are we missing? What keywords do we need to be number one to help, in achieving number one rankings? So on my homepage, you were looking at it, SEOgame has the opportunity to get a free keyword audit and ranking analysis report. Once you sign up for that, it will just be an email to me. I'll follow up with the ideal keywords that will help traditional search, which is going to still make up 99% today in 2025. We're in October. Hopefully, that offer will still be able to attribute phone calls and web traffic once we achieve number one ranking. So that's basically the offer is a 30-day test drive once we're ready to get started on working together on a website to focus on how we're going to get those number one keywords ranking for traditional search and then acquire attribution, phone calls, web traffic, leads, and hopefully it's enough in that 30-day trial to help the digital agency get their act together because I am a white label SEO provider, and then they can close the deal, and then I can then come in and then invoice finally the client. The client is the digital agency in most cases. So does that make a little sense?
Yeah, so let me just break it down for a second. Let's say there's a digital agency, they do websites for dentists or something like that. They don't do SEO. They can go to your site and be like, listen, I'm wondering if we can offer this SEO service. We don't want to build out this whole separate like branch of our team. We just want someone else to do it, which would be SEOgame. They can go in, get some keyword reports from you for free. And then the offer is, hey, like, let us work on this for 30 days, see what results we can get. How does is the payment after the fact? Is it before? How do you structure that?
Yeah, I've been a performance-based SEO, no rank, no pay, no nonsense, no BS, kind of a rank delivery specialist now for almost 29 years. And that's my offer to use that scenario of the dental implant dentist. Well, if a marketing agency has a relationship with a dentist, they're going to want a $20,000 keyword number one ranking. That would be dental implant because the dentist is going to have a button in the chair, and they're going to be pleased to have a new button in the chair every week if that phone call rings. And dental implant procedures really make a dentist happy. I mean, and it makes the digital agency happy because then they have a lifetime client. And SEO is that quick win to help achieve phone calls and web traffic. And if that lifetime client is that dentist and that relationship with that agency, the agency can then keep the retainer going on the SEO, but then more or less also focus on the redesign of the website every 5 years or more, focus on content marketing, focus on everything related to what the dentist is going to need to get more phone calls and web traffic. But SEO is that key component to the whole model, in my opinion.
So people don't pay till after the 30 days.
That's correct.
Yeah. That's, it's risky on your part, obviously.
Absolutely.
Right? At what point was that always the case, or
yes, it's always been the case.
Always the case.
Do you know why? Dental our marketing agencies have what's called in their thinking when they work with vendors net 30 terms, and so I learned that early on. They were going to get their act in order and get paid, and they needed a vendor to basically provide all the results, kind of like just what a vendor should do. I mean, if they partner with SEOgame, they know that I'm really good at doing one thing, helping with visibility, achieving the results, and focusing on attribution, which is going to increase phone calls and web traffic.
So in the beginning, again, like if are certain clients you will or won't take on based on how competitive it is? Like I imagine if it's like, hey, I want dental implants in Dubuque, Iowa versus Chicago versus New York, I imagine it's harder in the bigger cities.
No, absolutely not. And I achieve the results to meet the expectations of the agency, and the agency knows how to be able to close the deal because they're the one having the relationship. I provide the solution of rank delivery. So I take on any website. Now, you mentioned, now if we got outside of dentists and we're talking about some other industry that isn't maybe a brick and mortar company, like a dentist, like an orthodontist, like a med spa, like a injury auto chiropractor, like an infertility, anything with a door and a handle, or how about home services? Plumber, roofer, HVAC, general contractors that do custom home building, that kitchen and bathroom remodeling, renovation. Those are high, big ticket company owners. Those websites deserve to be number one ranking, and it's my job to make sure. And that can happen when the agency has a good relationship with these owners. I do my job, and they do their job. Where you're breaking out of that is when you're getting into experiments outside of my 30-day test drive with websites that are going to be experiments, the startups, the SaaS, the B2B technology, the anything related to e-commerce or software, national campaigns. They want to be the next Craigslist, whatever that means. I might have to take a little bit of a step back and go, my 30-day trial is not going to work for you. So we then generally place it into a 60-day expectation list of things that we need to do to achieve the results that agency is going to look good, and we can focus on attribution in the form that the owner of that website is going to accept. Hopefully they will accept it, and then the agency can get paid, and then I can invoice the digital marketing agency.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, from a kind of a local business perspective, as opposed to you're competing across nationwide, all sorts of solutions. So let's just assume the local business owner. What's the strategy in the beginning? Because it's not easy, at least from my experience, to rank things quickly necessarily. But I'm not an SEO expert like you. Do you focus on like long tail keywords in the beginning? What's the kind of strategy in the beginning? Because 30 days it's like that first 30 days is critical. But like, I don't get paid unless we get you ranking.
That's always been the case. It's a good offer. And we started this conversation about good offering. And so in a 30-day test drive, every website is going to be unique based on the history. I help the digital agency understand the daily cadence of what we're doing. They can actually see what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. They can see the month-to-month reporting with my key 7 deliverables that I focus on. First month, obviously, a little heavy. The second month is going to be the same consistency of the cadence of the reporting of the deliverables. And now with so many other ways to get more phone calls and web traffic from attributing a number one ranking, what we do and what I help the digital agency understand is that the clients that we work with never say these words ever. Stop sending me web traffic and phone calls. They're going to want to know how to get more. And their clients are going to ask, how do we do more? And so I work with them. In fact, the bridge behind me is a good example of a keystone in a bridge where we're laying it down in the center so a semi-truck could drive right over it. And one side of the bridge is where my agency is working on with the client, and then my side is the other side. And once we get that piece in, we're going to consistently get more phone calls and web traffic for being number one. So we go bold. We start off with the best keywords that will bring in the most volume traffic, and then also big ticket. Dental implant is, for instance, a big ticket, $20,000 button in the chair.
Yeah, and it seems like on your site when I was looking at it, you kind of zone in on, it seems like 20 to 60 keywords to start off with.
Absolutely. Why? And let's pivot to a dental implant dentist. Now they do emergent, maybe they have pediatric services. Maybe they figure that they're going to be good at doing orthodontic work. They could bring in another doctor in, an orthodontist in, that is. We're gonna have a big keyword list. And that 30-day trial is going to kind of encompass all of those keywords. Are we going to achieve on all those rankings in the first, let's say, 60 keywords for that one larger dental clinic? No, but we'll month by month pick it off. We'll achieve our results. We're going to see where the low-hanging fruit is. It's going to achieve some results, and the agency's going to look good because history's going to be made. And I see history being made when the website has the most improvements in that first 30 days. It's never achieved such results ever before. That's history.
Talk about tracking and reporting, because I'm sure like you're communicating to the agency and then they're communicating to the client. What's that communication like? What kind of reports and things are you providing so that the agency, because I know like your main job is to make the agency look good to their client, right? And so what do those kind of reports and communication look like so that they could present it to the client?
Thank you, Jeremy, for keeping that top of mind of what I do to help a digital agency grow and scale their business. What I would just say about that is, first of all, I use the best reporting service out there with SEMrush data, which everybody loves, the Cadillac of agency analytics. People can cut a lot of expenses when they know that I'm providing the agency analytics dashboard, which they're paying for it. They can save a lot of money. Then we're reporting on all of those dashboard reports. What's really good is that we're also reporting on the month-to-month SEO tech. And the SEO tech is basically all the work that we're doing in the Google Business Profile. It's what we're doing in the citation link building. And we're sending the data over to them month by month of usernames and passwords to all the citations, to all the reporting that we do in Google Business Profile. And we're also focusing on making sure that the story is being told in attribution. Because we do what we do, an SEO company that says they do it for another reason is not a good SEO company. I feel like we do SEO to attribute #1 rankings for the best high volume keywords, to attribute the best work to get the biggest ticket keywords, and then hopefully our attribution is phone calls and web traffic that show that in Google Analytics. And we can talk a little bit about Google Analytic reporting and Google Business Analytic reporting with the newer or the best topic that I know everybody wants to hear, and that is what we're doing to solve the problem of answer engine optimization and LLM models or summaries of generative, AI. But that's another thing. That's a whole nother topic, what we do.
Talk about some of the tools and tech. You mentioned SEMrush, obviously, and leveraging that to help show people, the results in Google Analytics. What other tools do you like to utilize? Someone was mentioning the other day about OpenForge, like we're speaking about AI and ranking on AI and tracking. What are some of the tools that you've seen that are go-to in the industry?
Well, the agencies I help need agentic AI tools that support what we're doing, and they need a platform that's secure. And so I've partnered with companies that help with, and everyone's got their own name of their tool. So I partnered with certain companies. They name, like one of the agentic tools is helping the agency with 5 introductions of websites that fit in their ICP, ideal client profile. And what we're trying to do is making sure that they get 5 opportunities a day and that they're closing them, and they have a built-in CRM. That's an agentic tool that we actually don't charge anything for it. We only charge if they want more than 5 referrals a day, introductions that they can close on. And then we're doing that. And then we're also helping with the heat maps. That's a tool that My Business has introduced that 5 years ago. We all resisted, we all hate it, but we all have to play with and that's for local search, heat maps. And so we have an agentic AI tool that we support that actually combs through the Google Business Profile to help in expanding the visibility of websites so we can increase attribution, more phone calls and web traffic. And then we also have a plugin in WordPress that we're also helping with semantic link building. That's helping with agentic AI and semantic searches. And so what we're doing with the agentic AI WordPress plugin is it's actually combing through the internal blogging. And it only really now works with WordPress websites. We're getting a rating score, and we're actually improving Google Analytic results with how much traffic we're getting from ChatGPT, Gemini, with the Google AI summary, and then also Perplexity. And we're really trying to improve the numbers in Google Analytics with those four roughly tools that we're using. Not to mention, we're putting it all into one dashboard at Agency Analytics as well. So that's the best tool that an agency has, so they can just go to one place and then get all that information.
So do
We're
your
training and coaching
clients
them.
then, when you have a client, do they get a dashboard with you and all these things are kind of plugged
Yes.
into them?
Yes, it's all plugged into them, and the training is going into that so that they can share it with their clients.
Very interesting. I'm curious early on why you went the white label route.
Well,
Um, I mean,
I love that
I
question.
could see advantages and disadvantages, right? Because like obviously you have an agency and they have a lot of relationships, right? And you can manage one relationship that maybe they have 10 or 15 clients, and so you're just managing that one relationship. That's obviously an advantage. Disadvantage is like you go directly to a roofing company and obviously you can charge more, right? Because the agency needs to make money in the end for all this stuff. And then so your fees get decreased along the way. So I see advantages and disadvantages, but talk about, you know, that decision to go
I love
white
it.
label.
Yeah, white label to me just came naturally after I built my first website for the university or college I was attending. And I was running another technology company at an ISP, an internet service provider, where we fixed fax machines and got everyone on that lightning speed dial-up, as you mentioned in my intro. What I did is I had clients that were digital agencies. I was gravitating towards what they were doing, learning really early on. And with technology back, this is all pre-Google, by the way, technology could solve the problems that they couldn't do on their own. I had servers. I knew what to do with those servers. I knew the software that could interact with those and could, back in the day, it was a little bit more Wild West kind of approaches. We all wanted to wear a white hat and we called ourselves white hat, but I think a lot of us were gray hat, black hat. There was a little bit of a difference of our approach to how we were doing SEO. I did it for the agency so they could look clean and good, and then behind the scenes they had a competitor. They had a really competitive website. They wanted number one ranking, and they needed a better solution than what they were used to doing. I could provide that heavy hitting solution with servers. Now, I became a white label SEO from the very beginning. And I just stuck with that model because I enjoyed always working with the book of business of the clients. And it allowed me to grow and scale and always stay in business. And my job is to help digital agencies stay in business. And so I've just kind of said, well, Mark, I'm in my lane. I'm going to stay this way. Now, digital agencies give me what's called handoffs. Networking has given me handoffs, and it gives me an opportunity to work directly with owners. And I'm not objective to doing that. I'm just not seeking, opportunities to go directly to target plumbers. That makes
Yeah.
enough.
What is, Mark, I'm curious, what does your team look like? Because
Team
you
looks
serve a
like
lot
this.
of clients.
I have a three-legged stool approach and any digital agency is going to tell you the same thing. The three-legged stool approach to all SEO is in the Google Business Profile, if we need to create one, on-page optimization, fixing the website, and off-page citation building. I have managers in all three of those areas that have been around with me and understand how to work closely together, and they've been with me for over 2 decades. And so I stick with my team member, and then we hire contractors, and they make the recommendations to hire, and then I pay the bills.
I noticed, I'm going to share my screen for a second. You have some interesting articles on your website here, which are we just talked about, right? How to rank in Perplexity AI, how to rank in Google Gemini to increase GA4 traffic. Talk about some of these recommendations.
Yeah,
Um,
this is based on that plugin I was talking earlier about in WordPress, and we had that recently just launched, and we're placing it on websites that are WordPress sites. We're getting this overall score that will then interlink and focus on our semantic link building strategy internally on a website, so we can focus on the semantic search. So right now, 99% of still all overall traffic for the brick and mortar companies, the home services are still in traditional search. However, we're trying to increase that 1% of traffic from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. We're trying to improve that to increase it from 1% to 4%, then hopefully get it to 8%. We're trying to make content marketing cool again. We're trying to show the agencies that they can build a new product out of this. They can make blogging cool again, making content marketing important again. And we're giving jobs back to content marketers that need to be, hired by some, a website owner that can afford them. Or if they want our route, we can do it. But this is their website, this is their blog, and so we're hiring real content marketers to make it happen.
so if people want to check that out, do they just Google GA4 Traffic Booster WordPress plugin? Is that what?
No, it's a knowledge-based plugin, and I'm doing demos with it, and it's right now private, but it will be
Got
live,
it.
and it'll be live there pretty soon.
Okay. Talk about the process of creating a plugin.
Partners, getting a partner that knows what they're doing, who's done it before, and having them do it, and then having all the problems. They're dealing with the problems of making it live. That's why, 2 weeks ago, I wanted this same plugin live. It still isn't, it's not live. So right now we're just doing private demos.
That's
So the
awesome.
partner's going to take care of it. We're working on a server issue so it won't get hacked.
Uh,
A plugin for WordPress, if you don't do it right, it's going to get hacked. And we don't want to get hacked. We want to have we want to have the opportunity to make sure it doesn't get hacked.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to share when it goes live. If not, I guess people have to work with you and they'll get it privately. How to be a good networker.
Uh,
Okay. Talk about your thoughts on that throughout the
you,
years.
you are every time I think of a good network, Jeremy,
Oh,
you
thank
and I,
you.
we go so far back. You mentioned, what you're doing early on in your others, this podcast, but you circle back, not using some kind of automated system. You just know the value of networking. So I always, for as long as I've known you in networking circles, we've been in networking groups together for a long time. I expect when I meet with people that they're going to never give me a referral for a digital marketing agency. I just expect that they're sitting on someone, but they know a web designer, they know an SEO company, they know a marketing person, they know it's easy to give me a referral. They might just say, oh, I'm holding back. So how do you do that? I work on helping them get what they want. And in networking, I love taking 15 minutes and actually finding their ICP or super connector. And I think everyone is getting so elevated in good networking circles that I belong into 4 groups right now currently. So if I know someone who's looking for an HR leader, I've got 5 of those. If I know someone looking for a CFO who are good at virtual networking and they have that gift of, they're going to make the life of that person I meet once I find out what their ICP is, once I find out what their super connector is, who they want to geek out with. I know I'm going to follow up with a quick email and it's going to be such a simple email. It's going to say, these are the 5 people we talked about. Here are their LinkedIn URLs. Click them and let's make some introductions. And that always helps them to come back, and then maybe we talk about them, and then they might be able to open up, and then they might be able to share somebody with me. But I always look at the person who I network first. How can I make their day better?
Yeah, I always people ask, and I'll say, the best way to get referrals is to just give a ton of referrals. I think I introduce 5 to 20 people a day,
Amen.
and so just to give. And by the way, that's not even expecting anything in return. Just to
Nope.
give, and you know, good things will come back eventually. And that's my philosophy, anyways.
And that's why I look to you, Jeremy, because you've always been a stalwart. You've been the best,
Thank
and
you.
I can't thank you enough for all the
Yeah,
times
you're
we've met.
welcome. What groups are you a part of? I know we're a part of Connective. Shout out to Joe Mindak who started the Connective. That's a great group.
Yes.
What other groups are you a part of that you like?
Well, they just linger. The directories is where it's at, where you can get yourself listed in a directory. I may not be front and center of the directories, and they are kind of like shielded behind the scenes, but I like networking with people in the Success Network. And their directory is open to the public, even though I'm not a member of their group yet. I'm debating how. H7 is another good networking group. So I've got the Success Network with Donnie Bovine, and then Clay Hicks at H7, and then 1BC, and that's another really good one. And pretty much, locally in the Utah area, there's some good events. Uh, so,
You're a part of some local ones, like what?
yes. Well, just local chapters that have lunches,
Are they
and
like
there's
chambers of commerce
no,
of no?
no, they're just lunches. I pay for the lunch, and then there's, that Utah is really good at networking. So there's going to be some good lit in their Facebook private groups that we're networking, and then of course there's some Slack channels. I hit the CMO fractionals really hard. Wherever the CMO fractionals are networking, a lot of those I have to get invited to, and then I get kicked out because they find out I'm not as fractional. But hopefully, I can find good ways to be a good networker, so they make a make a
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, fractional. If you use the term loosely, maybe we can consider you a fractional. Uh,
but
but yeah, those are good ones. I'm glad you mentioned those. Yeah, Connective is good. I'm a member of Brian Kurtz's group, which is Titans. A lot of direct response. I mean, they focus in on direct response marketing, but it's all sorts of businesses. That's a great group. And I find that when I look at the leader of that group, if that person is just a giving human being, they attract other giving human beings, right? And so
yeah,
that's how Brian is, and people at the Connective too.
I apologize for all the groups that I'm still in, that I'm in a directory and I have a profile in, like Giver Marketing. Just there's floods of names are coming back to me. I have them. That was a great question. I just know that I can go to the spring of the source of the water, and I can tap into those anytime, even though some of them aren't as active as that I should be into them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it starts with, that's why I started with the offer, because like you have such a compelling offer, it makes it easy for people to refer to you, right? And if someone doesn't have a compelling offer, it makes it more difficult, right? And what I found interesting too is some people's trash is other people's treasure. And I've heard you talk about sometimes we're inundated with cold email and people are like, let me help you with your SEO. And people will come to you at a networking and say, Mark, I got like these 17 emails from different people, and I want you to discuss what you tell those people to tell the cold emailers out there.
The digital agencies get 17 emails a day, if they even get more than that. Everybody's trying to tell them they're their white label solution, and they can help them. Um, that's why networking works, because it cuts right through it. And
Yeah, I mean, I
and
was
I want to
referring
be
more to like more direct people pitching SEO services or web services or individual services, right? And I've heard you say, well, just send them my way and I'll do the work for them.
yeah, yeah. And it's not so much a pitch slap. If let me get some work, like let me beg and plead for some work. Maybe you have some scrap to, like, maybe you need some help on. It's more or less of of providing value, cut through the noise a little bit for the digital agency, give them an offer that's appealing. A digital agency might want to look first to the words that never, out of those 17 emails they get a day, no one has ever told them that they can achieve social proof. Those two words, if you're talking to a Houston SEO company, for instance, what is social proof? Well, social proof for a Houston SEO is for being #1 ranking for Houston SEO. Well, I could help them. That will give them social proof where then they can, in that megaplex area of Houston, all that huge area, they're going to 10 times their business with that word social proof. They're losing sleep with those two words of social proof. And if I could just solve that problem in a 30-day trial and help work on that solution, maybe they want me to work on it because they're not #1 ranking for their own keywords, web designs, Houston. I help digital agencies kind of, sometimes that might be their first project. To them, that might be the only thing that they care about at first. Then we'll get to those other websites I work on. But let's see if you can fix my problem.
Mark, I want to just, I have one last question. I want to just encourage people, they can check out your site at SEOgame.com. Like we showed before, you can go in, you can fill out a keyword, your website, and get a free report to start, right? So it's a no-brainer. So check out SEOgame.com. My last question is just mentors in business. This could be colleagues and mentors, people you've learned from personally. It could be distant mentors, meaning there's just books or some other resources that you've looked on over your business career over several decades. Who are some of your personal business mentors or distant business mentors?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to plug in the guy that you mentioned, Jason Swank, Stephen Guberman, people who are at that high level. They sold their SEO company at a high level, and now they mentor others to help exit or help them succeed, even get, they're always my kingmakers. I'm going to plug those guys in. Maybe you can mention a little bit more about Jason in the interview you did, but along the way, I look to them and mentoring how they help the digital agency go a little bit step further. And then I'm going to plug in my guy that helped me with agentic AI tools. Justin Silverman over at Merchant. He's the one that uses the platform to help with heat maps and the agentic AI tool that we fix problems in getting referrals to the agency so they can get 5 every day and close it in a little. Then I'm going to mention my WordPress plugin developer. And she's a member of the Connective, and I want to make sure Kim Albee gets recognized. And definitely love working with these people. That they were willing to take my advice, come up with some ideas, do it on their own, and then I just love good partners like that are helping me stay on the front and center, on top of mind of the digital agency, so they can stick with me and stay with me and not become the next real estate agent. If they stay in their agency, I know they can make it past the first 1, 2nd year, 3rd year, and continue on and have a fruitful life of digital marketing agency running.
Yeah, Mark, thanks for mentioning that. Swank's a good interview. Steve Guberman's awesome. He was on the podcast, Agency Outside. And that reminds me of Carl Smith, who runs Bureau of Digital, which is another agency group as well. So people can check that out. Also, Mark, I want to be the first one to thank you. Everyone check out more episodes of the podcast. Check out SEOgame.com, and we'll see you next time. Mark, thanks so much.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I'm feeling like $100 grand.